are. She's a strategist and Fox political analyst, and Matt Schlapp, former deputy assistant to President George W. Bush and current Republican strategist. Marianne, when the sun rose today, were bankers nervous?
Well, I could see where they might be, but I think the differences on the stage last night in the debate on the Democratic side were pretty clear. And the two front and center on that were Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. And I think the thing to look at there is Hillary Clinton wants to fix what's broken, and Bernie Sanders wants to dismantle it. The common denominator in this race between Democrats and Republicans is everybody's mad at Wall Street, everybody's mad at Washington. So the difference between everybody is how are you going to tackle those issues? And I think when you listen to Hillary Clinton, for example, on Too Big to Fail, she wants more regulation, more monitoring, more penalties, and yes, people should go to jail. Bernie Sanders, on the other hand, wants to just dismantle the institutions that are too big to fail. Well, and I think that's an example of where the Democrats are in this race on this debate.
Matt, there is no doubt a lot of people do feel anger toward Wall Street because they got to be bailed out, and they were in the high rollers casino, and they made bad mistakes, and then suddenly it's our problem, it's everybody's problem. But I look at this and I wonder, Bernie Sanders' message seems to be, at least according when I asked Warren Buffett during a recent interview, he said, Bernie Sanders says some great things, but I don't like how he wants to get there. He wants to kill the golden goose. And does that not sit well with a voting public, perhaps?
Well, actually, I think it does sit well with the voting public. I actually think there's some bipartisan consensus here when you look at the Republicans as well. It is impossible politically, Liz, to defend the little guy paying and picking up the tab for the big guys when they're irresponsible in how they invest this capital. And I think that you see a populism coming from both parties. Now, if you go beyond Wall Street and listen to what those Democrats, every single one of them said last night, if you run a business, you should be scared to death. If you're somebody who already pays high taxes, you're going to be paying higher taxes, and government's going to grow and grow and grow. I think there's a very ominous message coming from that debate stage toward businesses everywhere. And if you're in Wall Street, hold on.
Marianne, to that point, is there a better way to win votes when you don't beat up on that great American dream? And I'm not sure Hillary Clinton did that. She did give a nod to people and the great American dream of starting a business and becoming successful. But the rest of them didn't really focus on that. And I think that perhaps doesn't resonate very well with a voting public.
Well, you make an important point here, Liz, which is Hillary Clinton did defend capitalism and competition because that's what helped people start small businesses and build out the middle class. But you cannot underestimate how angry and frustrated voters are in this country and across the political spectrum. They feel like they've tried to have their voices heard. They've voted time and time again, voting people out every election since at least 2008, and they haven't gotten the results. And I think what people don't understand about this election is just how volatile it is. So while some of these things may sound extreme to people on Wall Street, they're not. And I think that the problem here is the vast majority of people in this country who lost their jobs, haven't caught up, lost their income, lost their homes, are not going to bail out Wall Street again. They're the ones who have lost. So the middle class and the low income are going to pay less taxes because they bailed out the banks and Wall Street, and they're not going to do that again. And they feel it's their turn. It's their time to help them get back on their feet and get ahead for them and their families.
Okay, that's great. They don't get a choice in this matter. The fact is the elected officials make the decision, and they are going to have to bail out these institutions again if that's what our elected officials decide. And I think we should follow the money. Where is the Wall Street money going? By the way, a majority of that money does not go to Republicans and is not going to these Republican candidates. Hillary Clinton's the receiver of a lot of that money. Let's look where it's going and let's see where her policies are. You say that she was actually took a bow or a genuflection towards the free market. I did not hear that last night. I think but right now the Democrats are going hard left and they're going towards business.
Let me be fair here. I heard her talk about the competition issue, but Wall Street has been more heavily regulated lately. They do tend to whine a lot, but if you talk about the food or pharma industry, those guys are way more regulated and they don't whine nearly as much. So Wall Street still manages to get itself into trouble, Matt. The big question will become if that is the message that a voter will hear and say, yeah, why did nobody go to prison over the fact that I can't even afford a mortgage anymore or what have you?
No, it's a very fair question. I mean, all of this, Hillary Clinton explained it very well in one of her answers last night when she talked about $13 trillion in lost assets. And the fact is, for Joe Lunchbucket to pick up the tab for Wall Street bankers is offensive, and that's offensive to Republicans and Democrats. I fear that we are on the track to bail them out once again. And I think the voters, quite frankly, if that happens again, I think they're going to be mad at both parties if they have a role to play in that.
We must leave it there, but Marianne, thank you very much. Marianne's our Democratic strategist, and Matt is our Republican strategist. Great to have you both, and we're watching every single debate and what comes out of it.